Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Optimalfunction. Today we are playing Splatoon 3, and I'm going to show you the build, and I want you to guess what the Optimalfunction is today. We have the Splatshot Pro with a Squid Beak Shield, Reggae Tea, and Anaki Habaneros. Obviously, those parts don't matter, but what do matter are the stats and the badges associated with them. A lot of them are sub-based, right? You have the main one up for the ink reservoir. You have the one that I think does more damage. You have the one, again, ink reservoir, right? And what's our sub today? It is the angle shooter. So, the angle shooter is going to be our only weapon today. You heard it here first. It's for those who are wondering, it is a 3-shot kill that you have to reload in between 2 shots to get the final kill. It's a very precise laser beam. It does not go through enemies either, so it does not have any piercing power. I am a bad player at Splatoon. I'm just going to put that outright. And if I get a single kill today, I'm going to be happy. Obviously, we'll have teammates shooting, too. So, you know, it won't be a 3-shot kill every time, but from 0 to 100, it's a 3-shot kill. So, it's going to be a problem. I am just saying. I'm not playing ranked, obviously. I will, unfortunately, have to ruin people's regular games, potentially. But also gives them the chance to carry, so I don't feel too bad. And again, they're casuals, right? That's the whole nature of this series, for those who are unaware. Optimalfunction. It is a series where we are gamers and we're revolting against the min-maxing, you have to play it this way or the highway type of vibe. There's a lot of very competitive gamers out there who maybe aren't even in the competitive scene, and no offense to them, I don't mean them any wrong. I am just somebody who does not play games very competitively, outside of a few cases, of course, but most of those games are solo or like individual, right? I don't really play multiplayer competitive games. And if you play multiplayer competitive games, good for you, right? That's great. I am not somebody who likes them very much. Let me rephrase that. I do like them. I like playing them for fun though. Like, I'm a huge League fan. I love League of Legends. I think it's one of the best games ever made. But the community ruins it, right? I can't shoot him, but I can shoot the ink, by the way. That is just a little rule here, because otherwise I am just going to die like that every single time. Originally, my idea for this Optimalfunction was not being able to go into squid mode. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want this to be like a challenge video. You know what I mean? I want this to kind of be like, let's let a certain weapon shine through. You know what I mean? That sort of was the idea here, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. You could just say, hey, Kevin, why are you not just playing Splatoon normally? And to that, I would say, I really don't know. If you have a better idea for Splatoon and Optimalfunction, let me know. I'm very curious, like, how to make this game work with this gimmick. It's this is gonna be a brutal hour for me, probably. Maybe even an hour and some change. And you see, like, all the different badges that people have. You see that guy's build, like, he's be better off for this challenge than I would be, because I just don't have the optimal gear. But I'm also somebody who doesn't want to, like, spend hours and hours grinding that stuff. I respect them for grinding it. Personally, that's just not my flavor of game, you know? It's just not my flavor. Really, really isn't. So, opting against that idea, all things considered, we are getting absolutely mollied, which I am not terribly surprised by. I can go crab, but I can only spray ground. I can't spray players with the crab, so I can do that now if I want to, and I actually think that's not a bad idea. And I don't know what the idea is here, like, in terms of, like, end goals. I think it's just kind of play the game and see how it goes. See how miserable I am by the end of it. Again, I didn't want to make this a challenge run, but, like, I was like, there's really no way for me to like, get Splatoon in here, but I really want to get Splatoon in here, so I'm trying my best to make it work without saying, oh, this is a challenge, right? Because I never want to do, like, a thing that's like, oh, this is a challenge run, right? I want to do a thing that's like, this is a crazy build, this is a wild and wacky thing to be doing. Like, for example, with Deceit, if that was the first one that came out, but if you don't know, that there's one with Deceit coming out as well. That probably will be the first episode. I'm pretty confident it will be. Almost got the kill there. But yeah, I had to hit him 3 times there, basically, to have a chance to kill. It's a bit tricky. Not gonna lie. But yeah, no. In short, this is a thing where I want to do a crazy challenge. I don't want to do something that's like intentionally more difficult to play the game, and this is definitely one of those things. Well, I've also really loved the angle shooter since this game came, like since I found it out in this game, at least I should say, that it was the thing, and I immediately fell in love. Right, so I'm glad that I'm giving it a go. I knew this was something that going into this series, I was like, I want to just see what nonsense I can pull with the angle shooter because I love it. It's so fun. It's so goofy. Reminds me a little bit of like throwing knives from Call of Duty, where like you would just go for these crazy cross map kills and see how it goes. Yeah, so far as you can see, it's not going so hot. But yeah, we'll see. This one I was definitely like one of my least like. Oh, I don't really like this idea. I feel like there's something better you can do here, in terms of like non-optimal gameplay, that isn't like a challenge run per se, right? Which was like the big thing for me. It was very tough for me to figure that out. Maybe like, oh, you know what? I actually might have come up with something on the fly. We'll see how this angle shooter thing goes, and then if it kind of stumbles and falls, I still think that's a challenge though. When I think about it. Okay, so I'll tell you what I was thinking. I don't think I'll do it. I was thinking maybe just roller or ranged only. You can't do any melee kills with the roller. You can get around with the roller, but you have to use the flinging on the roller. But I also feel like there's rollers that are built for that. And again, I feel like that's just the challenge aspect of it again. I want to do something crazy. I don't want to do something that is, what's the word? A challenge, right? There is a difference. I think it can be challenging to do something crazy. I think deceiving is a good call to that, right? I can't access any doors. I have to wait for them to grab it and all this fun stuff, right? But there was also like a very feasible way to win, and it was a genuine strategy as well, to an extent, right? You're putting no suspicion on you, right, the entire time. So like there's definitely like elements of it that were like, hey, this kind of actually does make sense in a weird way. Like that's sort of the vibe I'm going for, where like you play these off meta things and you try to see if they make sense. So that was kind of the goal of that video, and that's the goal of this entire series, right? So I want to make that happen. We'll see if we do here. And let me know on Splatoon as well, because I'm very curious what like a fun little challenge would be for this game. Outside of this one, which is kind of insane. Did hit him there, you see that? So it does have a ricochet boost as well. Ink. Tough. Got the assist though. I mean, I'm helping the team a little bit. I think overall I'm definitely hurting the team. I must admit that. I can't not admit that. And I also feel kind of guilty about it, but in the day, this is the quick play mode, you know what I mean? Like, if you are a player who... I'm obviously not saying I'm throwing. Like, I'm trying within the confines of my ability here. But obviously it sucks, because, you know, you want to at least help the team out a little bit. Give it your best, your, like, all the tools in your tool belt. Like, what can you do as a player, right? But these are the tools I've given myself, right? And this is how I'm playing with them, and, you know, I'm not gonna, like, squid party or anything, like some people will do, right? I'm gonna give my all, give my go, see what happens, and I can't feel too bad. Top. Hit him once there, which is good. Sometimes I get 3 of them, which is odd. I don't know how. Okay. Oh, I got no bomb there. I don't have sound effects on, by the way. I think you might be able to get some of the capture here, maybe not. But I actually can't hear anything, so that is why I did not hear that bomb there. Fortunately, I'm gonna turn on my volume in a second here. Our team's actually doing okay though, which is good to see. I've not played much of a part in that situation, but I will say the team is kind of rocking it, so I'm happy about it. And I definitely wanted to include a shooter in this series as well, because it is such a popular like genre, like a popular genre that gets like uber competitive in this way, right? It's something that I'm very passionate about when it comes to like first-person shooters and like just competitive games in general. So like I was like, this is like a perfect series for me. I think I hit him twice. But yeah, it's a series that I've always loved playing shooters, but it's like taken to the nth degree because of esports and sort of how that has just turned into like the new norm to play video games in that sense for players, not all players, but for some players. And games are made to like have fun, have a good time. I remember back in the day with like MW2, you just goof around with your friends and have a good time, running the map and shooting things, right? And now it is very much a game where you need to be on your aces, you need to be playing the meta guns, all this stuff. I'm not saying it wasn't that to an extent back in the day, but like in Search and Destroy, it's always kind of been that way. But in other game modes, it's a lot. Back in the day at least, it was a lot more casual friendly, right? Just goof around, have fun, play crazy right shield classes. You could still do that technically, but you definitely like can't get away with it as much. People always expect you to go with like meta weapons and meta anything, meta blink, meta insert, meta here, right? Games like Valorant, right? Valorant is a game and that is not a game that I goof around in, right? It's not a game that you would goof around in. But like that's like the nature of like where shooters' expectations have gone, where it's like it's such a competitive experience for players. Also, troopers, by the way, everybody who's staying in this lobby, legends in the making. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm probably not gonna get a single kill this video, unless I accidentally kill somebody with my weapon or something. But yeah, no, like that's the point, like of this entire series is like, let's, as a community, like not just feel like every game needs to be played with this significant level of competitiveness. Like even games like I don't know, like there's just like games out there like Fall Guys is a game that is so freaking casual in nature, and then it became such a competitive like scene just because of like the Twitch rivals of that, or like even like a legitimate like tournament or esports or whatever, right? So it's just like those moments where I'm like, what have we doing in the game? Why are we doing this? What is the reason for this? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're kind of making it happen there. I mean, we're helping the team. I don't think we'll get many kills, but I actually do think we are kind of helping. Just a little bit. I can't shoot him, unfortunately. I think I might have actually hit him with a shot, but that's relatively okay. And if I hit him with a shot, like, it's fine. I'm trying to just cover the map. Mainly, we can't use this. We're not going to shoot anybody, though. If we get a kill, then let's see if there's not for anything. Can't actually shoot him, so we have to just be a little cautious of that. Oh, and I fell off the map. Okay. Almost a good play. I've never actually played this map either, so it is a little tricky for me to figure this out. But not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. But yeah, I definitely wanted to include shooter in this game because I actually included two, which is funny enough. I wanted to make sure that they were represented because it's such a sweaty genre nowadays. And it's always been a little sweaty. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's always been a little sweaty. But you'd have fun with Halo, and you'd have fun with like all these other fun games with like their like grief modes, everything. Like, and it was great. It was a great time, and I kind of miss those days of video games. I don't feel like we're ever gonna get back there, just because of how esports have sort of made everybody just feel like, oh, I can do this for a living if I just get really, really good at it. It's like, no, I mean, it's not really the case. You just want to have a good time and play a game sometimes. Like, sometimes it's important to have those little moments of reprieve. Like, it is a hobby, right? It's an activity. It's not necessarily like you're ever gonna make it like a competitive thing, right? Obviously, especially with my skills, as you can see, it's a little tricky to mess with this weapon, which is not even a weapon, it's a literal sub. So we'll see how it goes. But definitely a little tricky to maneuver myself here. As expected, right? I don't think anyone was not expecting to see that. If you were expecting something else, I respect you for sure. It's very tricky. It's very tricky. You gotta hit 3 times. Like, it's not an easy feat. Not an easy feat at all. I'm doing my best. Again, this is not ranked, so if you do have qualms with me doing this in a open queue game, I ask you to question where your anger lies. That's all I would ask, right? This is the casual game mode of the game. I want to just go and have fun and enjoy my weapons, right? I'm not throwing. I'm trying my best with the tools I've given myself. You could argue that the tools I've given myself are, in essence, throwing, and maybe you're right. But is that a bad thing? And sometimes it's fun to see players who, hey, look, I'm not doing great. I didn't do a good job filling the ink. But he's doing something fun and adventurous, and hey, sometimes you gotta respect that in a player. I hope that you feel that way, at least. And if you don't, let me know in the comments. Civilly, of course, why, what I'm doing is maybe a bad thing to be doing. But, I don't know. I really think it's fine. I don't have any qualms doing this in a non-ranked game mode, right? Especially because the other game mode is basically the same thing. I mean, it's slightly different. There's an objective versus not. So I really don't want that, but also, like, if you want to play a game, like, super competitive, you can play the ranked mode, right? And that's sort of my logic. Like, I see that a lot with Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2. I didn't mean to say Overwatch 2. I would say just Overwatch, but I guess it is Overwatch 2, right? Where, like, you play the casual mode, you play the quick play, and you just want to try a new character or something like that, right? You try your best, but maybe you don't know the character very well, and then, maybe you get flamed for not playing well or not performing well. And it's like, no, that's not really the point. If you want to... I don't think flaming is in any way, like, the action you should be taking in those situations, right? It's just never, like, a good thing for either party, right? It just isn't. But I do want to add that, especially in the non-competitive mode, right? Because there's no stakes. You just go to the next game and you move on, right? You can even avoid players in that game if you really don't, right? So, like, that is all you need to do. It's silly to me that you can't just have, like, fun trying a new character in a game anymore. That's designed to, like, play other fun characters, right? And I don't really have a way to, like, implement this rule set into that game, in my opinion. I probably do. I'm trying to think of, like, what the right call would be there. Maybe in, like, open queue. No, I don't know. I really don't know how you would do in that game. This sort of gimmick, the series, but I definitely want to do close shooters for that very reason. It's like a genre that I've loved for years. See how slow that is, by the way? Oh my gosh, it's so difficult. It is so difficult to get that kill. But yeah, that is why shooters in this game. That's why I'm doing this game specifically. So I was like, you know what? I want to place this into the channel, and also, I've always wanted to try the single shooter out and give it a go as a legitimate weapon versus just a standard sub weapon, because it is so goofy. It is so goofy, and I'm in love with it. Did you hit him? Okay. So I think we're going till I win. I think after these couple of games, I'm like, I think we're going till I win, because I don't think I'm going to win anytime soon, to be honest with you. And these gamers are really good. Like, I do respect them. They're doing a very good job, all things considered. And most Splatoon players, like, I don't get upset, like, if I get crushed. Right? I don't really have much passion for this game. It's not like I don't have passion for this game. It's just, it's there's so many games. And I feel like it doesn't... I've missed the boat on this game a lot. Like, it's 8 years old of experience. Like, even if I'm, like, playing the game legitimately. Oh, he's so close. No way. How did I not kill him? I killed him. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Huge dub. Oh my gosh. That was honestly, like, the victory I needed right there. Is that little kill. Also, only 2 of us left, which also explains why we're just getting absolutely demolished right now. Fair enough, too. I mean, I'm literally not even using a weapon. But that's also actually you can do, right? Like, it's just, I mean, I don't like really the games, obviously. Like, you don't really need to do that. But it's inevitable, right? It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Man, that is a brutal map. Oh my gosh. I think I thought this was going to be the collage of all the one-sided maps right now. It is so funny. Also, we're going against the same enemies every time, because I forget in solos you don't switch up players, which is so silly in my opinion. It's so stupid. Like, you want to play different people, right? Like, I don't know why you want to be stuck with the same 4 people every game. It's silly. I did get a kill, though, which felt really good. Number 1 enemy splatter is a little brutal for that game, but you know what? That's the nature of the game, man. Nature of the game. Okay, we're going to switch up the enemies here. Just because I want to ruin more people's games. No, I'm kidding. I want to... obviously, like, I want to see, how it fares against players who maybe I'm just encountering, or maybe those players are just really good and there's just no way to really beat them with a strategy. I did get a hit, though, which was good. That felt very nice to get, because it is tough. This is very difficult. A lot tougher than I thought it would be, honestly. Okay. Again, mad respect for people who play these games and just go off. I respect it, right? I think it's just the answer of like, are you going to be toxic in return if somebody isn't giving that same level of competitiveness in a non-competitive game mode, right? And as long as you're like respectful and fair and like understand that fact, like I'm chill with you and I respect you, right? And if you don't want my respect, that's also fine. I'm okay with that too. I've learned over the years that my respect is not something that is like this honor bound, like oh my gosh, this all revered thing, right? It's just again personally that's just how I feel about certain gaming culture things. Like if you want to play competitive mode, play the competitive mode. I am not a competitive gamer. I like to goof around in games. I like to have fun, right? I think there's definitely an audience for that too, right? So I hope you understand that in the comments if you are concerned. I like I'm like defending myself like preemptively, and I'm like, oh okay, so Guts the win. I'm kidding. Obviously, just next one will not count as wins. We're only counting the games that. You know, yeah, we are gonna probably play till we'll see. I'm either gonna play till I win or it's already been 20 minutes, so maybe. I like to edit this as well, but also I feel like this has been like just a good podcast type of episode, so maybe not edit this one. I don't know. I wanted this to be a highly edited series, but also I feel like this video is just like gonna lend itself to being sort of in full, right? So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, this is super fun. I'm a huge fan. And overall, I will say I do like Splatoon. I think as a game, it's solid. It's really freaking fun. I think for me, it's just like I missed the boat already on like understanding the game mechanics. This game's been out for, on all intents and purposes, 8 years, right? Since the Wii U came out, and I did not play it until Splatoon 3, probably like 2 years ago, probably maybe a little over 2 years. But I simply did not play this game. Right, it was not something that interested me. I was already into Call of Duty at the time, I believe, maybe Apex as well, and I was like, no, I already have my shooters. I don't need another shooter, and also it looks kind of like cartoony and like not really my vibe. I really hated the music too, and I still do to this day. I really hate the music too. And that might be a hot take. That's okay if it is. Yeah, music is so subjective. So people who will listen to my music and say they hate it, and it's like, well, it's fine. It's fine. I don't hear that very often, to be fair. I do think I produce this, but outside of that, it is, you know, it's just not for me. Not my type of music, not my type of game. But then I jumped into it for Splatoon 3 when Jem was playing, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a go. It'd be good content regardless at the very least. And then we ended up making some video videos about it and all that fun stuff. It was good. It was a great time. So I did definitely miss the boat this game. There are definitely players who are just going to be better than me at every step of the way. There's nothing I can do about it, right? Oh, almost hit him there at the end. That's the way though. Like, that's the way for sure. Get him there. And dang, good kill there. Who's that? Splat Julius. Interesting how he got into that fight. All right. A bit more ink. And yeah, for those who are just joining in the middle of this, I can only use the angle shooter sub weapon. I have a build that is somewhat sub-based, but I don't really like build my gear for like one specific thing ever. I kind of just let it go with the flow. And sometimes that causes me strife. It causes me danger, and I really don't have a good time with this. So, yeah. I also don't want the series to come across as like, oh, I'm greater than you for not playing games seriously. Like, no, not at all. Like, competitive gaming is fun, and it's exciting and thrilling. Right, I think it just comes down to the fact of like there are different factions of games. It never really used to be that way. It used to be like, I don't know, maybe I definitely was that way before, like for sure. But like it's definitely been more and more polarizing over the years. I feel like, where like either you play it super competitively, or you play it just for fun, have a good time. I feel like a lot more competitive games are too, which it's fair. Like I do like competitive gaming, even like in the world of like single player stuff. That is like legitimately like a competitive thing to do, right? It is also more community driven too. Like I understand that aspect of it. So you know, understanding that is pretty vital. It's so good. It's so unfortunate. Oh my goodness, this guy is just like hitting these like little like. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I definitely broke the rule a little bit there. I was not expecting him to just die like that. He's actually a really good perch, though, guys. Team spotted. I'm spotting them for my team. Just like not nothing. But definitely, it's not something. If I had to say one over the other, like what's the better idea there? Probably just shoot him. But, you know, you gotta go for some antics sometimes. Oh my goodness. Oh no, he stuck up on me. Oh, I'm having some fun though. And like, you know, that's good. Right? Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I Oh my gosh, I gotta be able to turmoil. I don't even freaking post it. That'd be so funny. No, I'm gonna post this for sure. Oh my goodness. I did sadly get a kill there, but it was not with the English here, unfortunately. Yeah, we're good till we win. That's a good rule. Because I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. I'm not even getting much ink on the ground, to be honest. A little rough out here, not gonna lie. This is so much tougher than I thought it would be. And I don't even know what I was expecting, to be honest. Like, it's like, oh, this will be a piece of cake. No, of course not. It's probably the worst sub in the game, in all reality, right? Very difficult to use it. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's goofy. I think it's goofy. I hope you're not feeling a bit bored by just me being awful at this game. But you know, that one that we win is going to be insanely cool. And I feel like if we're like on cylinders, right? Like people are going to get caught off guard by this. Maybe, I don't know. It's very difficult to use this. It's also interesting to see like people who like are in the lobby for more than like one round because they're gonna like understand like, oh, he's going for English shooter shots, right? So I wonder if there's like a different like way around like using them. I don't think there is. I think it literally legitimately is just get high ground and try to make that work. Unfortunately, that is like the one map I do want, and we keep not getting it. It kind of sucks because like that map is actually pretty decent for me. This map also isn't bad for this. I think both maps are pretty solid. It's a little less like ricochet and stuff. It's a little tougher to manage it, but you know, we're making it work. We could probably hang out here, but realistically, I don't want to treat this like a sniper. I don't think that is actually beneficial. I think staying back is good, but I don't think the sniper style is good for this. You need to kind of like bide your time a little bit. Okay, I'm a little bit of danger here. Always kill me. Tough. Yeah, that guy was not me. Okay. Got assist though, which is something. Yeah, I really wish I thought of like a better challenge. Cause like I like this one. Like it was definitely something that like my mind went to this in the first place when I thought of this series. But I wanted to avoid like challenge run style video. Right? Like that's not what I wanted this to be about. I wanted to kind of be like a call to action, if you will. Where like, hey, we need to start treating games as games a little bit. And obviously, like there's room for competitive gaming, and obviously there are competitive modes in a lot of games, right? But like this is sort of like a serious like call to action. Like, hey, it's okay. You have fun in games. Just do something goofy and silly. I think. Personally, that's all I feel. I think games are taken seriously. If you do take them seriously, that's fine too. I respect you and I appreciate you, but as a lover of video games, I must say they're being taken seriously. Just vibes, you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean it's just my experience with like League and like all these other like more competitive like first games. Where like, I never throw these games, right? But it's just like the idea of you win or you have a bad time is just not something that vibes with me, right? Like, overall, I'm having a pretty fun time. Like, obviously, I think the challenge of this is making it a bit more um, interesting, if you will. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. But I'm having a good time. Like, even though I'm getting like defeated every game, I'm still having fun. Am I having as much fun as I could be having? Maybe. I don't know. It's really up for debate. Got a kill there. I felt very good. Oh, it's high ground. We know about the high ground there. We got a little bit of comeback there. Unfortunately, I don't think we win it. I should probably went tank for more ground coverage there, but I don't think we win that regardless. They just had such a big lead on us. But that was close. That was probably the closest game yet. So, you know, I'll take it. If you're just doing this video now. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. 30 minutes in, you're like, what? That's your closest game. You're down by like 20%. There's a reason for that. But again, I don't want to sound like I'm somebody who is like looking down on competitive gaming. Not at all. I look down on people who expect that to be the norm in modes that are not necessarily called competitive, right? At least when there's an option to play a competitive mode in the game, right? Like there's a very clear competitive ranked mode in Splatoon. And if people are doing this in ranked mode, I'm like, yo, I get your frustration. You should be frustrated. I would never be somebody who would play that mode and do this nonsense. But in a mode that is about being welcoming and about being like just like goofing off and playing a video game, right? Not welcoming per se, but like just goofing off and playing a video game, right? Like this is valid, I feel. Personally, in my wholehearted opinion, I could do squid parties if I really wanted to. I don't like people with squid party. I don't understand the point around squid party. Because why would you not just play like a VR chat or something? You know what I mean? But yeah, I sort of had a second epiphany with that as well. I'm like, originally I feel like I was like very anti squid party. I was just like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you wasting my time in this game? But now I'm like, you know what? I honestly don't. Like, it's fine. It's a not competitive mode. If you want to do that with your time, who am I to judge you for doing that with your time, right? I think that is sort of like an epiphany I've had, where like in the same way I would be like, I would not judge people for what they spend their money on, right? In the same way, I need to value that with time, like in terms of personal, right? Like I would always, I'm not somebody who like would always say this, but like sometimes I would be like, why are you wasting your time doing X thing, right? When you could be doing Y thing instead. I obviously I wouldn't like tell people like, oh, you need to be doing this instead of that, but like there'd be like just like very menial things where it's like, oh, you can just pay someone, or oh, you can just do like X, like other things to do that. Obviously, there's more conversations, how much money you have, how much things. But like these are people who, like I know are like fairly well off, and it's like, oh, why are you not just replacing this thing with something else? Then I think about it, I'm like, sometimes the journey of doing that menial thing is meditative, or sometimes it's just like there's like a chunk of enjoyment that you get from doing that. And even if there isn't, if there's not a reason that somebody does something, respect to their time and energy, right? Like that's okay. That's honestly like chill. Like it's great. You know what I mean? Like if somebody just wants to do something to do nothing, like that's okay. We need to accept that people do that. They need that little like, downtime. Like, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing. It's not going to be productive. I'm not going to have it. I'm not even have a good time doing it. But I want to do it, right? And you got to respect it. It's like you really do. And I think that's a lesson that I've learned kind of as I've grown as well, where it's like, originally I was like such like a, oh my gosh, you have to make every second, every minute count in your life. If you're wasting a minute, why are you wasting a minute? You know what I mean? But the reality of the situation is like, people are going to waste time. And sometimes that's a good thing. I think a lot of times that's a good thing if you waste your time. Oh. Off. Almost. Almost. We actually almost had that win there. It really sucks that they kind of came back at the end there. We'll see though. We might actually have it here, which would be really nice to end on that sweet note, I feel. And this sort of series, like it's going to be comedic at times. It's going to be kind of interesting at times. And I feel like sometimes it should just be me ranting about video games and even life sometimes. Like those moments there where It's just like, I just want to talk about it. So this is something I'm very like passionate about. Like, I really love games. I'm very passionate about the idea of having fun playing video games. Shocker, I know. And I think people have fun in different ways nowadays, right? Like, it's not like, we actually might win this. I hope we do. We might not. We'll see. It's going to be very close. Oh, that's the closest one yet. Yeah. I'm definitely getting the hang of the English dude, though. I definitely had a couple kills there, which is really cool. Um, but yeah, no, like, that's my point. It's like, we shouldn't be judgmental of people's time. We shouldn't be judgmental of how people like spend their money. Like, in the same way, at least. Right? Like, I feel like people hear that very often where it's like, #1 overall splatter is crazy. I guess they probably kind of assist with that. I got a lot of assists that game, too. I actually did really well that game. I'm very happy with my performance there. I didn't ink a lot, which was bad. I got to ink a bit more. I was #1 splat on the team. Very cool. Didn't get a lot of splats, but you know what? I'm happy with that. See, I'm not even throwing. I'm not even throwing. It's just I had to practice a new weapon. That's all. That's all I had to do. But no, like in the same way, like people will say, "Hey, don't waste, like, don't judge people for what they spend their money on." I would say don't judge people for how they spend their time. Right? As long as they're not harming anybody, of course. I feel like that's always the little like caveat, and rightfully so. You do need to at least say that. But as long as people are like having a good time and just kind of being themselves, even if it's like, hey, I'm literally just going to sit in my bed and watch YouTube for 10 hours. Right? And I've had those days. I think we've all had those days, especially like in the communities, right? Where it's just like, look, you just have one of those days where like I gotta watch like Digital Circus and Murder Drones and all the fun shows on Twitch productions for the day. Right? That was me like this week when I was like super sick, not really feeling it, mentally and physically. I was just like drained, right? I'm like, I'm just gonna watch some cartoons, have a good time. More adult cartoons, but really good shows by the way. If you're curious, Amazing Digital Circus is like the rage on YouTube. If you have not heard of it, give it a go. There's a lot of content farms that are like being really kind of weird. Per usual, I suppose, when these popular shows come out. But the main series is low-key like one of the best cartoons I've ever seen. It's only 2 episodes in though. And the Murder Drones is also fantastic. Like another wonderful show by the same creators. It's just like insanely good, insanely good. It doesn't have any right to be. It's completely free to watch, right? Like, just absolutely mad respect. So inspiring to see that come out in a medium that is just literally free for watching, right? Really great shows. Huge recommendations. Definitely check them out. But sometimes you have a day where you just have to watch those cartoons, or watch other cartoons, watch anime or whatever, right? And not be productive. And you have to give yourself those moments so when you are productive, you are really productive. Right? And even if you aren't like that productive of a person, like if you are just like constantly like head down, I'm going to be doing this thing for the next like year and just nonstop do this thing. I mean, sometimes that's okay for like a year, but like I mean, nonstop do this thing, period, right? Like that is excessive, right? You have to take those things to sort of revive yourself. I mean, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it's definitely a word that I would use. So unfortunate. I was so dead there. I definitely overextended. But no, like, you definitely need those times and those moments, and we should not ever judge people for doing things that they want to be doing in any given moment. Again, as long as they're not harming anybody, and as long as it's like relatively healthy to do, right? Like obviously there are unhealthy habits that I understand the need to circumvent them, right? Like that's 100% the thing you got to do in this situation for loved ones who do crazy stuff, right? But obviously you got to play that by ear, right? And those are exceptions, not the rule, right? I think the rule should be just let people do what they want to do, right? I don't think that's a bad thing, and I think it's something that I learned over the years where it's like I would just notice people like doing things that maybe weren't productive or like but then you realize like, oh, but they're otherwise healthy human beings. Like they're doing things that are perfectly valid, right? You just gotta respect that, and you have to give people their space and understand that, hey, look, what you're doing, I don't necessarily agree with, and obviously that is a statement that is like kind of noted, but in terms of like just activity or like general like downtime things, right? Like, what are some of those things that you notice that you might be like a little judgmental, and like not necessarily in a way that makes sense. Right? I don't know. And maybe this is just a me thing. When I was younger, and I would just see like, oh, why are you not like producing like making things? You know what I mean? Like, why are you not being creative in X way, right? And like, no, you are still creative, or you are still like training your brain, or you even are just like relaxing. That's fine. Everyone needs those moments. You just like calm down and take the time and die and hit in the middle of a Splatoon map. Sometimes you need that. This guy's really good, by the way. I know. We did catch him out there. Actually, a close game. I'm very intrigued with how this one's going to go. I've done a lot of kills this game, but I've done some work. Not a lot. As much as possible here at the end. We might have it here. We might have it here. Let's go. Let's go, gamers. Okay. Well, that, my friends, has been another episode of Optimalfunction. I hope you enjoyed this series. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Again, I want to get a better Splatoon challenge, so please, please, please let me know in the comments if you have one and you're like, I really want to see you do this, or even try it yourself if you want. Again, in non-ranked modes, of course. Right? I want to respect the competitive gamers that do want to do that, right? But in a game that's like casual, like who gives a crap? Yeah. Yeah, let me know what a fun challenge is for this game. I'm really curious, but I think this was good. I thought it was good. A very podcasty style episode. I think this sort of this series gives me the freedom to just kind of like do whatever I want with these episodes, right? I think the Steve one's a lot more strategical, and it kind of showed like a bit more of the brain behind some shooters, and like kind of how using that over necessarily tactic mechanics to win the game, or maybe not win the game as well. I'll actually click that. Because I don't want to spoil that episode. It was very fun. If you haven't watched it, make sure to check it out. I will excel a couple of games I am very excited to share. Some really fun ideas with sort of what the optimal function will be. I think this one was actually relatively fun, despite being a little chaotic, a little bit more leaning into the challenge run aspect of the game. Which I don't love doing, but it is sort of inevitable with this type of series because not every game has those like unmeta things, right? But there's some games that do, and hopefully the next one will be one that does, again, return to that form where it's a very goofy build, very goofy setup, and you kind of just try to make it work. So, either way, I will let you go now, and yeah, thank you for watching.